Hi, so in this video I'm going to show you how to make your website actually work, so change it from being a simple HTML website into a PHP website that talks to a database. Now the first thing you need to do is set up a server on your machine. Now if you already have one that you can connect to online, that's fine, you can skip this part. But if you don't, you can either use OpenServer, which unfortunately is in Russian, so I can't show you because I don't understand Russian well enough yet. So I use a program called XAMPP. You can download and install it for free. It's a really small, simple program to use. Now, when you run XAMPP, the first thing you need to do is start Apache and MySQL. So where these buttons say stop, they will say start. You just click them and they will both go green. Now, then you need to go into the admin button and that will open up this page here. Now, I am not going to show you how to create a database in my PHP MyAdmin because there are plenty of tutorials online and I will link one for you in the help document. I am going to show you the database we'll be using though, so you can see what we're connecting to. So I'm going to click the Databases tab, and eventually it will give you a list of databases. Now I'm going to use the database shop, and I only have one table. It's called Customers, and in that table there are two records, Bob and Mary. So that's the database I'm going to be connecting to. Now for the website, I've created the website in another program called Dreamweaver. You guys can use whatever you want. You can create them online as long as you can download the HTML files, that's fine. So my website is in my downloads folder at the moment, and it's called Demo Site. I have 3 pages. I have an index page, an error page, and a logged in page. I'll show you what they look like. This is my index page. The user is going to put their username and password in. If the username is correct, it's going to go to the logged in page. Doesn't that look beautiful? And if it's not correct, it's going to go to the error page. Now at the moment, the button just takes me to the logged in page regardless of what happens, which obviously isn't what we want. We need to put some code there. So what I need to do is I'll close down those pages, and I need to take my demo site and put it into the XAMPP folder on my computer, which is in C drive, XAMPP, and it needs to go in a folder called htdocs. I'm going to paste it in there. So there we go. Now my website is in the XAMPP folder. Now if you're using OpenServer, that'll be a different path. If you're using Devolo, that'll be a different path. Look in the documentation for that software, guys. I can't go through everything. Anyway, the important thing is it's now in here, which means that when it runs in a browser now, the PHP behind it will work. Now, we don't have any PHP at the moment. So this is how you make a PHP file, and it's really complicated, so pay attention. Right click, new text document, and I'm going to call it login script because it's going to be the script to log in. And here's the important part, guys. See that little .txt? Change it to PHP instead. Yes, you do want to change it, and you now have a PHP file. The second thing I need to do is change my index file. Rather than link it straight to the logged in page, I need to make it link to the PHP page, because it's not going to automatically go there. It's going to go here to check if that user exists. And the way to do that, this is really complicated again, so concentrate. You right click and you edit with Notepad++. Now this is installed on all the machines, guys, so you shouldn't have any problem with that. And here we go. This is our website, web page, sorry, in HTML. Now, if you should have worked in HTML before. Think back to grade 10 and 11. You did a little bit of work in it. Obviously, don't go changing stuff, guys, if you don't know what you're doing, because if you break something, then it's going to take you a while to figure out what it is. Now, I need to change the submit button on my form. So if I go down, oh, there we go. There's my form, and as you can see at the moment, it's going to logged in HTML. I need to change that to login script PHP. Now to make sure I get it right, I'm going to be lazy and I'm going to copy it so I don't have any spelling errors. There we go. save that. Now I'm going to run this just to show you what happens, and I'm going to run it with Google Chrome. This is just to keep the database and the pages separate, guys. You don't need to do this. You can run it all in the same browser. It's fine. Okay, so here we go. Our page is loaded, and if I click submit now, login script.php. Now, obviously, I haven't put anything on that page, so it's not going to do anything. This is where we need to do the code. Okay, right, so if I go back, ready for when our login script works. So, I need to open up the login script PHP, and I'm going to edit it with Notepad++. So there we go, a completely blank page for us. Now guys, PHP pages can have HTML in them, so they can look really cool, or they can just be a PHP file. This will actually be behind the website. You won't see this page. The purpose of this page is to determine if the username and password exists. If it does, it will open up another HTML document. So this page won't be seen, it will work purely in the background. Right, I have created for you a help file called new PHP help. It will be on Edmodo for you. And you can copy and paste bits of code from here, guys. I don't mind. It's not copying because the code is going to be the same. There's only one way to open up a document, a database in PHP. The only thing that will change, the database you are connecting to, the password, the admin, and where you're connecting to. So feel free to copy and paste code from here and change the bits you need. So I need to connect to a database. It only needs one line of code, so I'm going to copy this code. And first of all, I need to open up some PHP brackets, question mark PHP, and to end that is question mark close bracket. So any PHP you do, guys, needs to go in those brackets. If not, it will not work. It will think it's HTML. Right, copy and paste that code. That connects to my database. Now, it won't actually do anything. It won't even connect, actually. That is just setting up a connection called con. I've called it con for short because I'm lazy and I don't want to type lots. So that will create a new SQLi connection, connecting to localhost, password root, username root, password is blank, and the database is called shop. So that'll connect me to the database. To check if the user exists, I am going to need a query. And yes, I have made some queries for you also. Again, this isn't copying, guys, because there's only one way to run a query in SQL. It's the query that will change, though, and again, change the bits you need. So I'm going to copy and paste this code, and I'll tell you what it does in a minute. Right. This is a variable called query string. It's a string that will take our SQL. Now my SQL at the moment is saying select everything from customers where customer username equals Bob Bobbert. If you remember, we have Bob and Mary in our database. Then what we do, we call a connection, we tell it to run the query, query string. Okay, so this actually runs the query and it uses the connection. Until now, we haven't run the connection, we haven't run the query. This line of code here does both for us. So the next thing we need to do is do something. If Bob exists, we need to tell the page to go to the next page. Now to do that, you can use the help, and right down the bottom there is go to HTML page from a PHP page. So I'm going to nick that piece of code there, put it in. Now it says header location is equal to logged in HTML. Now that happens to be my page because I was doing this as a demo for you guys. Obviously that's whatever page you want it to go to, and it can be a HTML or a PHP page. Okay, so what I've said is select from customers where so and so so and so, run the query. If the query actually comes back with something, then go to that page. Okay, that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to save that, and I am going to run that file. So double click the index and click submit. what will happen is it actually shows the PHP file. It's not running the PHP script, and that's because we're not running it correctly. Okay, now if you do ever get this, it's because you've made a mistake, and I haven't told you what to do yet. I just wanted to show you this because trust me guys, you will make this mistake. The mistake is you've just double clicked the file, okay, and it's run it from here. Now what you have to do to run it properly is this. You have to type in localhost, // and then the name of your folder, not any particular file unless you really want to. If you just do that, it will run the index file automatically. So localhost, not localhost, and then the folder within that you want to run. Press enter. There you go. Now it runs the same page, but notice without all the C drive, blah, blah, blah. Now if I click submit, there you go, it's logged me in. Now, that at the moment, guys, is absolutely useless because we have just put in Bob Bobbert from here, okay? We've not got that from any text box. We've not tested to see if that's true. All we've done is just put this line of code in here. So to make it actually useful, you need to do something, okay? Now I'm not going to show you the answer, guys, because you need to think for yourselves, and there are different ways of doing this. I'll give you the logic though. You obviously need to take the information from here and here, okay? Now if you look through the help file, there's ways of doing that. Once you've got it from here and here, you need to check that with the query. So select from customers where the username equals, well, that's probably going to be from the text box, right? And where the password from customers equals the text box password. Then if they're both correct, you go to the next page. If they're not, you tell them to enter it again. So I'm stopping here. For now, I will help you with some logic in further videos. I hope that helps.